gathered here today to celebrate. As Samantha McCombs and Kyle Heller take the next step in the journey of their lives together. It was about 1.5 years ago these two first met in one of the most romantic places known to man, Bumble. Samantha came across Kyle's profile one day, and his pictures were cute, which is always a bonus. But most importantly, he had a puppy. And that piqued her interest, and so she gave him the old swipe right. And at the same time, Kyle came across Samantha, and he was really impressed by her taste in music and movies, not to mention her amazing red hair and pretty green eyes. So he too swiped right. Now once the app matched them up, they chatted through text for a little bit, but quickly moved to a conversation on the phone. They talked about dogs and horror films, and at one point, Samantha made Kyle laugh so hard, he thought he might have broken a rib. They seemed to have a similar taste in humor, and the conversation flowed so easily that Samantha couldn't help but ask Kyle if he were real. And Kyle assured her that he was. And it was clear that the two of them were on a very similar wavelength. So Kyle and Samantha, they decided to go on a date. Now that date took them to the park, where the plan was to walk Kyle's puppy, Scylla, for a little while. Now Kyle had only recently become a dog dad, and so they stayed very close by. But meeting Scylla was definitely inspiring for Samantha, who then became, or wanted to become, a dog mom. As they walked and talked, Kyle thought Samantha was funny, and he loved her sense of humor. She was kind of an enchanting weirdo, as he likes to say. Meanwhile, Samantha was already smitten with Kyle, noticing his dimples, and she found him absolutely adorable. Now, it was definitely a nice time, and it inspired the two of them to see where else it would go. Now, for the first month, Kyle and Samantha spent a lot of time just really digging in, getting to know one another. They watched a lot of scary movies, or spookums, as they like to call them, and took Scylla on more walks. But no matter what they did, they felt just so amazingly at ease together. But after that, the two of them dove into their relationship. They would talk every day, watch shows together, and listen to podcasts, all in the name of simply spending time with each other. Samantha even came down with a mild cold at one point, and in an accidental moment of morbid humor, Kyle unintentionally got her funeral flowers to make her feel better. Now, a couple of months into dating, the two of them took a trip down to Hocking Hills just to shut the world out for a little while. And it was there where things became pretty clear to both of them that the connection they had was something bigger than just a casual date. For you know, sometimes things just meant to be. So thoughts of the next step started to arise. And one day at the mall, Kyle even had the brilliant and somewhat silly scheme to take Samantha ring shopping at Claire's to get an idea of what kind of jewelry she liked. Now, Kyle was aware that Samantha's lease was going to be up in a couple of months, so he figured if he proposed soon, it would give them plenty of time to kind of merge their lives, and so he set to work. Now, they both share a very strong love and appreciation for family, which inspired Kyle to begin his quest by asking to meet with Samantha's dad and ask for their blessing. Now, Samantha's dad actually thought he was stopping by for some guitar lessons, but totally gave him the old thumbs up when the truth of the visit came out. And Kyle's next step was to order and then reorder 3 different rings before finally deciding on one he knew Samantha would like, which I should mention was not from Claire's. Then, with his sister's help, right around this time last year, he set up this very special moment at Antrim Park. Now, Kyle initially told Samantha that they were going to meet one of Scylla's litter mates, and so that she should wear something very nice for the occasion. So she did. But when they arrived, Samantha discovered that there was not, in fact, a puppy. but an extravagant picnic nestled away in a ravine for the two of them. And there Kyle started by playing the guitar to kind of set the mood, just as a military helicopter came overhead. But once the song was done, he dropped to one knee and started to say the words, "Will you marry me?" But Samantha answered with, "Of course," before he could even finish. Then Kyle put on the ring on the wrong finger. But eventually, they figured it out together. Now, the plan may not have unfolded flawlessly, but like with all things, the two of them simply made it work. Now, after that, Samantha and Kyle moved in together, and for the first time in their adult lives, they truly felt like they were living at home. And now, living together ended up giving them just kind of more time to be with each other. And it seemed like there was always something fun and interesting going on when they were together. For a perfect example, the escape room that Kyle created to celebrate their first-year anniversary. And then over the last 6 months, these two just continued moving forward. They have enjoyed dates, concerts, and travels. They even got COVID together. There's been plenty of personal and professional growth for both of them, and the only span of time where they didn't talk with each other was when Samantha was marooned on a yacht in the Galapagos Islands. And it was actually after that trip when Samantha looked at the doorbell camera and she had a chance to see just how many times Kyle got Taco Bell while she was gone. And the answer was, a lot. But that pretty much brings us here to today. It is the culmination of everything that Samantha and Kyle are and all that they have become. Because now these two, they share a relationship where they really just fit well together. They're patient and supportive of one another and have grown to understand each other on a very deep level. Kyle and Samantha share all of life's responsibilities and take their duty as pet parents very seriously. They each realize that it's kind of a strange path to get to where they are now. But they're so grateful to have found each other that everything which happened beforehand seems to have made it all worth it. But ultimately, I know everyone sitting here today knows what these two, they just make each other happy. And they're excited to see what is to come. So let's join them as they join each other on this, the next adventure in life together. Now we're going to begin this evening with some vows. And before the ceremony, Samantha and Kyle had a chance to share some more personal words with each other. But there are some promises that they still very much want to share in front of all of you. And because Kyle is, of course, just the kind of time-honored gentleman who would want his bride to go first for everything on their wedding day, we shall begin with Samantha. So please tell us, Samantha, will you take Kyle to be your husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love, honor, and cherish for all the days of your life?
I do.
And Kyle, do you take Samantha to be your wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love, honor, and cherish for all the days of your life?
Absolutely.
Sounds pretty affirmative. And we're going to continue now with the rings, symbols of the love and devotion to one another, and a permanent reminder of the bond between their hearts. May we have those rings, please? Now this is the point in the ceremony where someone such as myself generally talks about the ring as being a perfect circle with no beginning and no end. And while that's certainly true of the finished product, these rings do in fact have a beginning. Rocks are dug up from the earth, the metal is liquefied in a furnace at 1,000 degrees, and then it's molded, cooled, and painstakingly polished. And after all of that effort, something beautiful is made from those raw elements. And love is very much like that. It comes from humble beginnings. It's made by imperfect beings. It is the process of making something beautiful where once there was nothing at all. So Kyle, Samantha, as you place your ring on each other's finger, please remember that this ring is your promise to continue to accept each other's imperfections but also to recognize their beauty. You may exchange. He's had practice. We come now to the unity ceremony. This is the point of a wedding where the bride and groom get a chance to perform some activity together, kind of symbolize their two separate lives coming together to be one. Now this moment can take many forms, but today Samantha and Kyle have chosen to create an anniversary album with each other. Basically, they're going to be making a book which will record their life as a married couple from here on out. They're going to start today by placing letters to each other on the first page. And then every year on October the 21st, they will create another page about what their lives look like together, thus chronicling their life together as a married couple. If you would, please place those letters. Well, with that, everyone, I do believe that it is now my chance to say, by the power vested in me in the state of Ohio, I officially pronounce these two husband and wife. You may totally make out in front of your family.